Yeah, hello everyone. I just wanted to, touch light on my near-death experience. Well, I was dead. Uh, I guess like a lot of people, uh, when I was younger, I believed in God, and I believed that there was God and there was, you know, a devil. But I really didn't. I didn't honor that. Like I didn't. I went to church, grew up Catholic. My parents made me go to you know, CCD they called it, which was like Bible study on weekends, and raised Catholic, made my communion, and but as I grew older, lost my father when I was in my uh, around 24, I believe it was 92. I was rebellious. Like after that, I didn't stay in contact praying or with God, but I just knew there was a heaven and a hell. And I figured, when my time came, I would, see God and everything would be good because I did enough. But in the meantime, I was drinking, carrying on, doing whatever I wanted, and basically whatever the world does, go out on Friday nights, Saturday nights, drinking, carrying on. If there was drugs there, whatever, cocaine, pills, would take them. Uh, Basically, to go out like a hunter would and hunt deer, I would just go out and be like, I'm going to meet someone tonight and bring them home. And most of the time, a lot of times, I did. And, self gratification and pride. And when I was younger, I was decent looking and built and it was not a problem. But anyway, make a long story short, as I got older, I started having back problems. But other than that, great health. It was around when I was around 44 or 42. I'm 55 now. That I started following God again and getting real close and praying and all that because of my back condition. And I let all them old things fall to the wayside. I was done with it. I was done with womanizing and drinking and carrying on and drugs and stuff like that. And that's when the demons came. And when I mean demons, Hollywood could not reproduce what I've seen with my eyes that God has given me. I've seen things that were half animal and half human. They were never born before, which means they never came from a woman's womb and was born on earth. They were demons. They were devils. I'll never forget it. They would plague me. I would get a shower and shave, and they would scratch me and bite me, and I would turn around and they would show themselves to me. They were deformed. They smelled like matches and feces, just basically matches and feces, and it was bad. And when they got close to you within 6 feet, your skin would burn like there was oven cleaner on it. And this went on, I would say, practically a year and 4 months, or maybe a year and 9 months, practically 2 years. I was going to church every day, and I wanted to stay in the church because I was just plagued by these things morning, noon, and night. They would hold me down, they would paralyze me. I would go to Catholic priest and tell the priest what was going on. I captured stuff on my phone. And they would follow me right into church, these demons. So they would go right up to the altar and everything. And I captured them on my phone and I told the priest about it. Some in the beginning, there was one Catholic priest that said, "I don't believe in demons. I don't know what you're even talking about." And I was like, "What kind of priest are you? It's written in the book. Jesus cast out the demons into the swine." They said, "What do we have to do with you, Son of God? Don't torment us. Please let us go into the pigs." Hell is a bad place for a demon to want to go into a pig. Do you understand, folks? I'm trying to tell you. I was the worst of the worst. So anyway, after being paralyzed and scratched and bitten, and sometimes the covers and all that being pulled down, and touched sexually in the shower and in the middle of my sleep, and waking up to, seeing when you push on your skin, you see my skin moving because I'm pulling on it. Imagine seeing that and there's nothing there, and then God allowed me to see all these things that were attacking me. And I don't even want to get into explaining how wretched and nasty and what they smelled like and how they burnt your skin. All I can tell you is hell is real. And God is real. So I went to sleep one night after about 2 years. And like I said, I returned to God, and I was praying all the time and reading His Word and getting closer to God. The closer I got to Him, the more these things stirred up. Till one day, they confronted me, 3 of them, in my living room. One was about 9 feet tall, and the other two, I call like a little gang, like a clique. And the thing that confronted me had the torso of a man, half the face of a man. It had bull horns. It had, from the waist down, the hindquarters of a deer, except that its hoofs, instead of being small like deer hoofs, were big. They were about 14, 15 inches. And it smelled like, like I told you, burnt matches, sulfur, and feces. And it told me to bow down to it. And if I didn't bow down to it, it was going to tear off my head in that split second. And I looked at him and I gave it up. You know how people say they surrender their life to Jesus and all that stuff? Well, I did in that moment. I said to that beast, all 3 of them, and I looked up at it, smelling it, scared to death, trembling inside. I said, do what you must. I will never bow down to you. I serve the Lord my God. And that was it. I turned around and figured my head was coming off. But after that, I went to sleep that night, and I died. They killed me. And I woke up in a valley. I was sucked out of my body. I felt it. And I knew I was dead. And I looked down at my left hand because I could think. I could hear my thoughts. And I looked down at my hand and seen that I had a left hand. And I was in a valley. And when I mean a valley, it was like a football field, the size of a football field, but embankments in the front and the back of it, just little hills about maybe 12 feet. And there was trees, and it was these funny trees that I never seen before. And when I Googled it, they grow in Jerusalem, and they're only about, 13 feet high, but they're bushy, almost like the oriental trees you see in pictures. And there was a mist on the ground, and the mist was about maybe 12 inches or 11 inches off the grass. There was no sound. It was dark, no concept of time, but it wasn't like dark where I couldn't see anything. It was like midnightish, I would say. And then as I'm standing there, and as soon as I realized I'm dead, here came the white, bright light. And we don't have this white here. There's no way to explain it. And the white came from the right part of the sky in the farthest part of the field. And I seen it land on there. And lo and behold, I knew automatically who it was. I put my head down because that white light and what I seen, I felt it. You know how we say we love? I love you, you love me. That white light is pure love. You feel it. You feel it like the sun on your face, that warmth, but only it's radiating. It consumes you. And I felt it from that far away. And I seen Jesus, the white light morphed into Jesus, and Jesus was standing on the hill and came down with his staff down the hill. Left foot, then the right foot behind it. Left foot, right foot. While he was holding his staff, I put my head down. I felt dirty. I felt like a I felt like a steamroller rolled over me, and I was the dirtiest rag rolled in feces and urine or whatever you wanted to call it. I felt dirty. There's nothing to explain how dirty I felt. And when I looked up, he was 6 feet in front of me. And he had a veil over his head that rested on his shoulders and went down in the back, and he had a white pleated gown. And his pleats were 4 inches, about 4 inches like that, all the way across. And his gown went all the way down to this part of his hand. I don't know if you can see this part of his hand. So I couldn't see nothing from here down. and it went down to his ankles, and it covered on top of his instep. I'll never forget his sandals. They had a crisscross in the front and a crisscross behind it on his instep, and he had brownish. I could only see the hair like right here, like this much when he pushed the veil back. And it was funny because when I looked up, I was like, oh God, I'm in trouble. And I didn't realize he can hear my thoughts because I'll get to that in a minute. But when I put my head up, he put his veil up to reveal who he was, and I seen his hair here. He had a bump in his nose. His face was fuller than the pictures that we see that typically, predict Jesus. The closest thing I seen to him is the burial cloth, the shroud of Turin. That's the Christ, except his face was fuller. He had a bump on his nose. He didn't have a perfect nose. His face was long, like from the top of his forehead to the bottom of his chin was down here. It was longer. So that's the only thing I could explain about it. I really didn't say anything. I don't know if I couldn't say anything or I was incapable of saying anything. But as I looked at him, he talked to me with his head as loud as I'm talking to you now, and I understood perfectly clear. He looked at me and he said, "Fear not, I'm with thee." And as I heard it, in that split second, I said, he's talking to me and he ain't moving his mouth. And I was in awe of that. And soon as I thought that and was in awe of that, he said, sternly, he said, "Fear not, I'm with thee." And then he morphed into that white ball of light that we don't even have that white here. There ain't no reason to explain it because we don't have that color here. And he morphed into that white ball of light and he went back to the right part of the sky. And boom, I was back into my body. And I was gasping for air on the couch and everything like that. And that was it. That was my death experience. Them demons wound up killing me. And I've come to realize, years later, demons are real. All these things you guys see in the news, and it's bad. These things are supposed to happen. People shooting each other, killing each other, and think they're going to get away with it. Like see people on the news killing their girlfriend, and then they kill themselves, and they think they get away with it. No, you ain't get there. There's torment for eternity. These things were wretched. Just being near them burnt my skin. 6 feet away, they were burning my skin like I had oven cleaner on me. When they got closer, it was like having a lighter to my skin. I'm just making this video because God is my witness, and I know He wants me to get the word out, and hopefully somewhere with this paralysis and all this stuff, people being paralyzed. And that's another thing. When I was paralyzed by these demons, I was wide awake on my couch, not on any medicines, nothing. I went to get up. I couldn't move. I could think. I couldn't even talk. I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. I couldn't move. Only thing I could do was breathe and blink. And I felt hands holding me down. But I prayed in my head. And I prayed to dear Jesus. Soon as I thought the word Jesus in my head, boom, they let me go. They let me go. Jesus is the answer. A lot of people are searching for a lot of things. You feel like you don't belong. You got depression. You got this. You look at it in drugs. You look at it in men. You look at it in women. Some of you are confused that, I'm gay or this. Pray. Pray every day, every chance you get. And hopefully this video will help somebody. I thank God for what I went through, because it made me who the person I am today. I ain't who I used to be. I know I still got a lot of work to do on myself. And we're all called we're all connected in this world. Like, God loves you so much. I can't explain it. He loves you so much. Just remember this. He loves you so much that he suffered on that cross and took nails in his hands and his ankles for you. And he seen everything you were going to do. He seen who you were going to do it with. He knew you before you were born. And I hope this helps somebody. If it can reach anyone and give them some kind of hope. Because they're going through this with demons and paralysis and all this other stuff. Seek Jesus. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Like, he'll save you. All right. Peace. All the glory to God and Jesus Christ. Mwah.